I think the whole entire Ethereum ecosystem, the crypto ecosystem, would really just like an audit of the state of layer twos, the state of rollups. There's many rollups going in many different directions with different design strategies, different holes, and there's still a lot of like unknowns for what the future holds, I think, for the scaling of Ethereum. While rollups did give us a lot of clarity for how Ethereum will scale, it has also given us a lot of questions, mainly in the world of fragmentation and security. So, Georgios, maybe we could just start with that. Can you just kind of give us the vibe of the audit of layer twos? How are we doing? What's going right? What do we still need to work on? Just overall, give us your sentiment check.
Yes, of course. So starting from the basics, it exists and it's real, which I think is on its own a remarkable achievement after many years of hard research and hard work. And I have pulled up here L2 Beat, which is a great website that many people reference these days. And you can notice that the current TVL in layer 2s amounts to almost 20 bill, a number that has over 10x almost this year. The risk is in a lot better spot. We're suddenly starting to have rollups deploy more fault proofs in 2024. We're seeing the security councils going live. We're gradually moving towards the so-called stage 2 decentralization in rollups. If you keep looking at L2Bit, you will notice that there is over 20 or 30 maybe rollups live of various types, optimistic, ZK. Some are not even rollups. Granted, some might have the layer 2 or the off-chain data availability. But overall, things are growing, technology that is advancing, things are being deployed, which I personally find really exciting. That is on the core tech side. Now, there's a whole ecosystem being developed around rollup services. There's companies like Espresso that are building shared sequencers for people that want to outsource their sequencing needs. There's companies like Conduit, which we'll talk about in a second, that are building the infra for people to deploy more and more rollups. There's other companies building alternative data availability layers. And there's the evolving rollup stack and the layer 2 stack that we envisioned many years ago that is finally starting to play out in production. Now, are we done? No, we're not. We still have a lot more to do. The ecosystem still depends on permissioned fault proofs. It still depends on permissioned sequencers. In general, the stacks are nascent. We still have a lot to do, but that is for the coming years. But overall, super excited, and I think today is a great day to be having this episode because we're almost at a pivotal point in the scaling story for Ethereum and its ecosystem.
What are the big problems that you identify, Georgios, as things that we still need to work on in the layer 2 space? Obviously, security is one that you mentioned and brought up and will be an ongoing thing that we will need to work on for a while. There's been a recent focus on, while layer 2s are scaling, they are also fragmenting, which is one of the big problems. What would you say are the big obstacles, the big research obstacles, or maybe engineering obstacles that the Ethereum layer 2 space needs to focus on more?
Of course. I think we're actually way past the research phase. This year has shown that we're entering this deep productionization phase where all the research is mostly done. And right now we're just seeing productionized deployments of things that we've known for a while. So right now, the things that I think are very important are, as you said, security. So right now, you can check the state of the security of the ecosystem just by counting the multisigs that govern all the rollups. As long as we have all of these multisigs, it's going to be hard for us to consider the ecosystem like really mature and secure. Now, what are we doing for that? We're moving towards multiple fault-proof implementations for each rollup. We're moving towards delays on any kind of power that any security council must have. We're limiting the power of every security council to, let's say, only when there's a layer 1 hard fork. We have a lot of work to do on decentralization. Right now, most, if not all, rollups are sequenced by one sequencer, usually the one by the labs entity or the foundation entity that the company runs, the project that built them, which is okay given that there is the layer 1 fallback option. However, it also means that the system can go down, as we saw many times this year with various projects. So overall, we also have work to do there. So 1, security, 2, decentralization. Now, 3, there is one not as spoken about topic, that is the tooling, which is all that we think about at Paradigm. And for tooling, the problem is going to start manifesting when people switch to different opcodes, when people switch to different precompiles. There's a lot of areas where things can start to change. And right now, people are not ready for, the tooling is not ready to support this evolution in the layer 2 ecosystem. For example, if somebody builds a new opcode for their layer 2 because they want to experiment, now they need to go into the Solidity compiler and edit the compiler and figure out a way to expose that to the user. And people just don't have the expertise to do that, and some mistakes will happen if we don't prepare for that. So we really need to make the tooling like ready and robust and modular and extensible, so that it's ready for this Cambrian explosion of layer 2 innovation over 2024 as the barrier to entry goes down and as the stacks mature. And that's part of like the tooling that we're also trying to build with our teams in an effort to make them extensible and ready for layer 2.
If you enjoyed all of that, then you'll absolutely love the Bankless newsletter. Join over 300,000 fellow readers, all for free. Click below to sign up.